Hello everyone, my name is Younes. I am an MSc holder from the ESC department, Electrical and Computer Engineering department from the University of Missouri Columbia, USA 2016, and I'm currently um, a lecturer at the University of Samara. Starting my scientific journey, I first, along with the assistance of Professor Subhi and Dr. Wala, who are in Tikrit University, we were able to design an electric field meter that has a very simple design and a concept that is simple to be understood, and it depends on basically on the negative or positive field forces coming out or into the electric charges, static electric charges, and this is basically the device layout. Um, and as you can see, the paper is turned out is torn out because of the years I spent with accomplishing my project, and also it's kind of a souvenir from Professor Subhi, who died almost 3 years ago. So I insisted on keeping the original paper of the design, and as you can see, we use the principle of opposite electric charges um, to push the electric or the electric stick, metal stick, so we can have an angle, and that angle expresses the amount of strength that the electric field has. Regarding my BSc graduation project, that was basically in 2011, under the name Reducing the Impact of Narrowband Jamming on Spread Spectrum Systems, triple S, using an adaptive digital filter. And it was for reducing the jamming, that is basically narrow banded, using an efficient adaptive digital filter using MATLAB, and the results were satisfying. In USA, during my studying of masters, my first project was to design a nanoscale transmitter circuit. The results I got, along with the assistance of my professor, didn't have that kind of that much of sharpness. As you know, whenever we want to have a nanoscale transmitter circuit, we should have a transmitted signal that has an extremely sharp edge of a signal, but our results were not extremely accurate, or did not satisfy the project. So my first advisor just left me without completing the project. So I had to cancel the project, and helpful to get back to the project whenever I get an advance in the project. This is the layout of the project done using a software called Multisim, the very well known software. As you can see, we used a JBT transmitter. This circuit is a modified version of a previously designed and published circuit of transmitting nanoscale signal, and this is the signal that we had in the output, and it didn't have that much of sharp um, edge, so it didn't have the scale of nano 100%. So I just left it because of the time. My second project, which was the thesis of mine, under the title Design and Analysis of Super Wideband Microstrip Antennas for Parameter Optimization. After several months of research and investigation, we had our design, or almost a final design of a microstrip antenna. And we had, by the way, two super wideband antennas design. My first design of the printed microstrip antenna, patch antenna, had a shape of a butterfly with details that I got from here and there, and after maybe hundreds or thousands of modifications that extended from day to night, night to day. So we got this very detailed approach or design. On the left is the front view. On the back is on the right is the back view. And this is the bandwidth of our first proposed antenna. As you can see, our criterion is to have a signal that is below -10 dB in terms of S parameters, or S11 parameter. So it roughly starts from 2 gigahertz up to 200 gigahertz. And this is, by the way, this is the first ever design antenna that has such a wide bandwidth that has ever been created. Regarding our second design, which was basically a fractal antenna, we used a specific circular alteration generator to generate such a shape, circular trenches. On the left is the front end, and on the right is the back end. And this is our bandwidth, which was a very little smaller than the bandwidth of our first design, and this design is almost 10 times smaller than my first design. Okay, and this is once again my largest, or my second largest, if you can say that, my second largest bandwidth that has ever been created. And I looked over many, maybe hundreds of journal papers, and no one has created such a thing. Um, this is the iterations generator of the proposed antenna, just for more details. Before graduation, me and my friends and some of my friends investigated a way to recognize Arabic letters using um, a robust uh, layout of artificial neural network (ANN) for handwritten recognition, and the results were almost 99% accuracy, and the dataset were almost maybe 20,000 or 40,000 images, real or live images. And after graduation, in 2016, I worked on a research proposal that was submitted to Macquarie University in Australia, specifically for Professor Rahal. And the proposal, I confess, had many difficulties because of the large number of unknowns and the very lack in peer previous work. Almost nobody has worked on such a thing. This reveals this kind of proposal reveals a robust predicted design of fractal antenna, and the project title was a prediction of current paths to enhance modifications in fractal antennas design using artificial neural network technique. And in a very summarized form, the problem statement was to have or to predict the exact stream of the flowing current inside the fractal antenna. So we know almost exactly how the energy is radiated through the discontinuities and the very detailed parts of the fractal antenna, and that's basically using the software of an artificial neural network technique, utilizing, and that was my suggestion, observation points, and these are our observation points represent the input parameters of the neural network. So after finding a robust model or a strong model for the ANN, we can have an accurate result of the current, how it flows. So our design of the antenna, of the fractal antenna, is going to be almost 95% accuracy, accurate design. So we're planning to predict the most optimized design of antenna depending on the outputs of the artificial neural network. So that's basically after several sessions of training. Okay, so the antenna is going to be small, it's going to be economic, so we can have many benefits because of that. Okay, so another proposal was was on designing a robotic antenna for filterization of particular frequencies. So the proposal was to have a robotized band pass filter for rejecting or uh, or passing specific frequencies. But my project, was once again in a lack of peer previous work, so it has suspended. So regarding my journal papers, recently or so far, I've been able to publish 5 or 4, because one of them is to be published, and the last one uh, was in the field of Internet of Things for designing a robotic car. Uh, so nowadays, I'm working on developing a research paper regarding reducing the problem of coupling between the adjacent antennas using the technique of cloaking and metamaterials, uh, based on basically a research paper done by Professor Yakovlev from the University of Mississippi. I'm also working on having a full assessment of the distribution of electromagnetic radiation in some of the neighboring cities, so that I can know the risky areas and how the electromagnetics are, whether or not safe for human being. Uh, I'm currently in a general board of renewable energy in my university, Samara University. Um, so hopefully we can commence our tasks in the several few months, incoming few months. Okay, so for the future, I'm going to try to reveal or to show the reason behind having high levels of static electric charges in a more detailed way, and specifically the season of autumn, when the weather begins to chill, because since my childhood it's been my problem to have this very annoying little shocks, and specifically September, October. Okay, so Professor Kalos asked me to list my future contributions to his group, and I've seen I've recognized that Professor Kalos and his group of researchers, they have a merit, they have a uniqueness. They can work on almost every single item or every single concept area in the field of electric engineering. They have contributions in almost RF, EM, metamaterials, metasurfaces, microwave, communications, wireless communications, etc. So, in my point of view, this kind of freedom in research has attracted me to a great extent that nowadays technology um, do need such a field that is, multi-branched and specializations for designing modern systems and solving modern technological problems. And definitely, if I were accepted in Professor Christophe Kalou's group, I will definitely am going to try to conduct my research thoughts that I had and am having, that I will have, uh, and come up with new ideas. I'll try to conduct them within Professor and definitely after his permission. I'll try to conduct them. Um, I'll try to have a twin mode or a cooperation between my future group, Professor Kalou's lab, and some of the universities specializing universities in Iraq for cooperation and gaining experience, like Tikrit University, my original university, Samurai University, etc. I'll work on stuck problems that are still within investigation or almost with weak results, maybe, but definitely under the guidance of Professor Kalou's. Uh, I will introduce seminars in different fields, or I have the capability of submitting seminars, such as seminar in the field of electrical engineering, physics, leadership techniques, up to teaching styles. So I, along with uh, for sure my future mates, we are going to work as bees in their cellular chamber. Uh, I will do my best. This is my final decision, and this is my final uh, picture I would like to express to Professor Kalos in order to prove myself. So hopefully we can publish many papers in many fields. Um, okay, so any question, I I will be appreciated if expressed, and thank you very much for your patience with me. So bye bye.